Hi, this is Jovanka from JovankaCiares.com, and today I am offering what I hope to be a very powerful interview with a very powerful entrepreneur and businesswoman. Her name is Janae Williams. Hi, Janae.
Hello, how are you?
Janae, I'm very good. Thanks for asking. Janae of the Artist Empowerment Firm. She is a former artist and event planner turned entrepreneur and entertainment lawyer. And today, protecting and educating artists and creative entrepreneurs is her life's purpose and her passion. And on a personal note, Janae is an avid wellness warrior, the type of woman that is very much into yoga and meditation. She's also a vegetarian, and she enjoys an occasional glass or two of organic red wine.
hmm
So it is this perfect marriage between a relationship and symbiosis between a powerhouse business person and a wellness warrior that I wanted to highlight today. And that's the reason why I invited Janae to come and talk to us. Because we know that sometimes, whether you work in an office or you work for yourself, you may still be a student. Sometimes life gets a little bit complicated and we may fall off the wagon, so to speak, and we forget to take care of our diet and our personal growth. And that will wreak havoc in our bodies, but also will affect our productivity and our work and the people around us. So I've been wanting to talk to a superstar businesswoman, and I found Janae, and I am very grateful that she agreed to come and talk to us and give us her perspective on the issue. So once again, welcome.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It's great to be here.
Wonderful. So Janae, you are a very busy businesswoman, and you don't have time to get sick. But in fact, that's exactly what happened to you. Like last year, you got sick like 5 times. Tell us what
hmm
happened.
Well, I mean, it's what happens generally when lots of entrepreneurs start their businesses. They're working really long hours.
Mm-hmm.
Things get really
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
You look up, and then there's like 3 or 4 months have gone by, and you're like, what happened to what happened to my life, right? What happened to
Absolutely.
my business? So what happened with me is last year I was in the middle of starting my firm, and I was working so much. I was neglecting my health. I wasn't really paying attention to taking time off. I wasn't really doing the regular meditation and doing regular fitness and things like that. And as a result, it was wreaking havoc on my body,
Mm-hmm.
and I just ended up getting sick. And every time I would get over being sick, I would be like, okay, great, I'm back to normal. I can get back to work, and then I'd get sick again.
Oh
And it
yeah.
happened like every couple of months, and it was absolutely awful. And the final time, I was actually almost hospitalized for
Oh
it.
wow.
I had to go to the hospital, but I didn't end up staying. But it was and that was when my breaking point, when I knew, I was like, okay, I really have to take care of my myself in addition to taking
Right.
care of my business.
Wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. And so, looking back, was there one thing in particular that you can pinpoint as the reason why you kind of started that domino effect? Because with us, especially, I mean, human nature is such that we do one wrong thing or what we perceive to be wrong for our bodies, and we just say, ah. We have no willpower. We're just gonna give up, and just becomes this snowball effect of like, well, since I had a bad breakfast, I might as well just have a bad lunch and a bad, dinner. And next thing you know, it's been 3 months of bad dieting and
hmm
bad self work. Was there something that you can pinpoint as the one thing that kind of started it all?
Yeah, I actually can. The one thing that I know for a fact, it actually didn't have to do necessarily with the diet per se. It more so had to do with the fact that I didn't take any time off. Like, I worked 7 days a
Mm,
week, between 12 and 18 hours a day. I
wow.
would go and I would start at like 6 in the morning. I wouldn't end until maybe like 12 at night.
Yeah.
And I would go to sleep for a couple of hours and I would do it all over again. And I just didn't stop. And I did that 7 days a week. And, obviously the body is going to start breaking down if you don't take any rest, if you don't take any time off. And I didn't do that. And I realized now that was the main issue. And then on a diet perspective, I did not, like, normally I'll have like smaller meals throughout the day just to kind of keep my metabolism going. And I didn't do that either. It would be long periods where I would go without eating because I was working so much. So so it's like no eating, no rest.
Which, common sense will tell you, of course, your body will start to break down, but unfortunately, we tend to not listen to the cues that our bodies are giving us on a regular basis. And
you don't think about it. You don't think about it when you're in the midst of working, and if it's something that you love doing, if it's something that you're really passionate about, and you're really dedicated and committed to it, sometimes you just don't pay attention to it. And it's very important to be aware of what it is that you're putting in your body, how much time you're actually taking off, like how you were actually taking care of your system. And that's the one thing that I didn't do, and that's the reason why I kept getting sick.
Right, absolutely. I mean, these bodies of ours are just amazing machines that are constantly sending messages to us, and we insist on not wanting to listen. So, Janae, you are the founder and president of a law firm. You deal with artists, people that are highly demanding, that have big egos, that expect a lot from their lawyers and from their teams. And I also know that you expect a lot of yourself. How did these particular health issues affect your productivity and your ability to deliver at that high level that you and your clients are accustomed to?
That's a great question. I think that it affected my productivity because when you're sick and your body shuts down, it's like, okay, you're not going to stop, so I'm going to make you stop. That's what your body basically says, right?
Yes, it does.
So the reason why it definitely affected my productivity during the times when I was sick, just because I really couldn't do much. I really couldn't get up. I really couldn't sit on the computer and work on contracts and, and talk to clients and things like that. Or if I did, I wouldn't sound very well. Like I wouldn't sound like I was full of energy and, and ready to, handle things. So just, the system breaking down and forcing me to kind of close shop, for days definitely affected my productivity. Luckily, it didn't affect my ability to deliver in terms of getting documents to clients and making sure that they were well taken care of, during that time. But it was really difficult to keep trying to push myself through while I was sick. It was like, my body's telling me take a break, and I'm like, but I can't take a break.
Yeah, so. And most of us have been there. And Janae, I mentioned earlier that you're a vegetarian, and this is a really kind of like a personal question more than anything, because it's something that I am very passionate about. I do believe in eating a plant-based diet or a plant-strong diet, a diet that is mostly of fruits and vegetables and whole grains and the stuff that you can actually pick from the ground. But there's a lot of us out there that assume that because you're a vegetarian, you must be very healthy, right? Like you eat lots of fruits and vegetables. When in fact, there's a lot of people out there that are what I call muffin vegetarians, right? Those people that eat nothing but muffins and white bread and white pasta and maybe some soda and some soft drinks, and they call themselves vegetarians.
Yeah.
Were you one of those, or were you the type that were like a plant-strong vegetarian?
Well, the thing is that when before I transitioned to being a vegetarian, because I was a vegetarian, I was also vegan for a number of years. Yes. Before I transitioned, I did a ton of research. Like, I wanted to make sure that I was putting the right things in my body, and at the same time, as I was taking out the meat and taking out, dairy and taking out all of these things, because I recognized how it was affecting my body once I started removing them. And so I kind of started off at a really good foundation of knowing, I'm supposed to be eating things like quinoa and kale and, and greens and, dark leafy greens and things like that. So thankfully, I've never been a muffin vegetarian, because I'd read so much information about, those types of vegetarians, and like eating pizza and chips and stuff like that. And then how that's going to really, affect your body. And I just didn't want to start off that way. Like, I wanted to make sure that I had a solid foundation. So I read tons of books and articles and things like that. And I think the main book that basically transitioned me into being a vegetarian was actually a book called Skinny Bitch. And that book transitioned me into like saying, okay, I'm committing to this plant-based lifestyle because of, what I learned about the treatment of animals. But then I went even farther in my research, and I read other great books, that had to do with how it actually affects you and your body. And one book that I really love is Crazy Sexy Diet. Like, that's one of my favorite books, because she really breaks down, trying to be, trying to keep your body at an alkaline, great level and things like that. So, like, that book was kind of my starter book that intrigued me. And then from there, I just continued to read and just kind of build on that research. And after doing that, I realized that I would never want to be like one of those muffin vegetarians. Like, I always wanted to make sure that I was filling my body with the right kinds of proteins, the right kinds of greens, and those types of things. So luckily that hasn't been the case for me. But I know there are lots of people who when they don't have the education, that's what happens to them.
So and that's the key right there. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Is the idea that research is, what I want to do, and what you are saying is that research is so important. You want to ignite that curiosity within you and find out what works for you, but educate yourself. See the other side of the coin. Stop making assumptions about what other people are telling you. Just simply go and find the research, because it's all out there for all of us to see.
Absolutely. And on top of that, like, after you find the research, it's really important that you test things out on your body and see how it works in your system, because they might tell you, oh, it's a great thing to eat this, it's a great thing to eat that. I found out by default that I was allergic to artichokes, just because they were talking about, oh, artichokes are a good source of this and that, and you should include them in your body. And then, I started to eat them, and I broke out in hives. So that was like a way of me, like, it's really important for you to test those things and make sure that you are, that it works within your system and in your body chemistry as well. So it's important to have the research, and it's important to do like what all of us do as entrepreneurs, is test things.
Right, correct. And so you have been testing a lot of these stuff, a lot of these new lifestyle attitudes and practices, and your life has changed. Like, what have you, like, what is it that you're seeing? What changes are you incorporating to this new diet and lifestyle?
The one thing that has made all the difference, like, we're now halfway through the year, and I have yet to get sick at all. And wonderful. The thing, yes, it's a relief. I know. The thing that has made all the difference for me is having one day off. I take Saturdays off, meaning I do nothing related to my business. I go get a pedicure. I go take a walk in the park. I just kind of, I might veg out and just, watch, a movie, like whatever it is that I want to do on that day. And I kind of allow myself to have the freedom to just kind of say, oh, I'm going to go play. I'll do whatever I want, that kind of thing on Saturdays, and that has made all the difference in my productivity. It's made all the difference in my business, be able to take that day off. And you think, when you are solely working for yourself and, you are dependent on creating your own income, sometimes you feel like you should always be working.
Yes.
Like you should never not be working,
I've been there, trust me.
Yes, we all have. If you are an entrepreneur and you are working for yourself, we all have that guilt about taking time off. But what I learned very early on, thankfully, is that it's a necessity. Like
Right.
it has to be a part of my life in order for me to be creative, in order for me to be able to serve my clients at a high level, in order for me to really be able to take care of my system so I'm here for the long term.
Right.
Like it's important for me to have at least one day that's just committed to nothing.
And what has been the end result? Like, how did you end up feeling? How has that positively impacted your personal life, but also your life as a professional?
Taking the day off, like I said, I haven't been sick this time, and also it allows me to kind of like enjoy life for a minute and like appreciate my life versus me just constantly looking at what's the next thing that I have to do to serve somebody else. It's very important that you take the time to actually serve yourself and feed your body the right things, and make sure that
it's the only one you have, right? Like
exactly.
If it does not work, your business cannot thrive.
Absolutely. It's impossible for your business to thrive if you are not working at a high optimal level within your system and you're not taking care of yourself. It's not going to work. So it's really important, and that's the one thing that I've definitely incorporated into my life this year. Is I said, okay, Saturdays are just for me.
Cool.
And
how long did it take you to start noticing that? Did you start noticing the positive changes almost immediately, or did it take a few weeks?
I think that after January, because I decided to take the time in at the beginning of the year. I said, okay, I'm going to take Saturdays off. Right. So I didn't really notice the change in how I felt until about February. And I was doing a group program at the time, and I was helping musicians because I'm also a business coach for artists and musicians. So I was doing a group program, and as I was doing that program, I noticed that, I felt great. I was being very, very creative in the program. I was able to kind of deliver at a really high level. I was able to support everybody in the program. They got great, great results. And, I realized that taking that time off and feeding myself throughout the day, those two things just made so much difference in how I felt and how I worked. It was amazing. So I think that through February is when I really started to notice the difference. And I was like, hey, this is great. I'm going to keep on doing this.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that you are a business coach for creative people, and you're also a lawyer. We know that you're the founder and CEO of the Artist Empowerment Firm. Tell us a little bit about the work that you actually do.
Okay, so you mean as a lawyer or as a coach?
Whatever you want to tell us. Whatever.
All right. Well, as a lawyer, I work with creative entrepreneurs, and I also work with artists basically on all the things that they need to do to keep their legal foundation tight. So I work on, contract agreements and negotiations. I also make sure that they have their business entity set up. I do that for women entrepreneurs all the time, like help them with setting up their legal entities and things like that. And as a coach, I primarily work on how is it that you're going to, if you're stuck in your career, how are you actually going to get unstuck and kind of take your career to the next level? So we work on branding, we work on your business foundation, on how you're going to put your support system together to support your art and to bring money coming in the door and be able to get the exposure that you want and get the fan base that you want that will help you to kind of move forward in your career. Like we work on all of those things together, and it's actually become a really amazing journey for me in order, in terms of being a coach. And I really, really love the work that I do in that regard. So we really work together to just take your career to the next level. If you've been doing this for quite some time, 5 or 10 years, and you're still at a place where you're hit an income level that you're stuck at, and your career is not moving forward, we show you how to get it moving.
Wonderful. And Janae is, as you can tell, she's a marvelous, smart, compassionate lawyer, and someone that you will be more than happy and lucky to have in your team. Janae, where can we find you? Like, if someone wants to contact you, I know that you have a Facebook fan page, and you also have your beautiful website, which I believe is called. Tell us the URL again.
Okay, so if you want to reach me, you can go to jawilliamslaw.com. And if you go there, then you can sign up for my email list where you'll get free legal tips, free business tips, and you will also get my free guide, which is, the insider's guide to empowering your career as an artist and ditching your 9 to 5 for good. So if you are interested in that, then you would go onto my page and sign up there. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's JWilliamsESQ, and on Facebook, it's my Facebook page is Facebook/JAWilliamsLaw. So it's all together.
It's all over. You can find it.
You have to keep praying tight, my dear.
And so there you have it. And thank you so much, Janae, for taking the time to talk to us and give us your perspective on the trials and tribulations of marrying your business life and your personal life, and giving us some advice as to how to find a little bit of balance, or at least tip that balance a little bit more towards our own self-worth.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for doing this, because we really do need to know how to take care of ourselves. And you're doing an incredible service for people like me and other entrepreneurs and other people that just need this help. So I thank you for putting this on. And it was a pleasure to be here with your awesome audience.
Well, thank you. And for you, my listener, if you have any questions whatsoever about this particular topic, or for Janae or for myself, feel free to leave a comment right below. I'll be happy to answer all your questions as soon as I get them. Share this video with at least 3 of your very busy friends that are struggling to find that balance in life and work. And for more great tips on how to live a healthy, happy, and beautiful life, sign up for my weekly newsletter at jovankaciares.com. See you soon.
Bye, everybody.